Nick, let's talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide spring ball in effect. We're starting to hear rumors, whispers around the college football realm about what is going on with this Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback situation. I think there's some really interesting stuff coming down the pipeline. Alabama fans should be very excited about this news we have for you today. But before we dive into that, I'm Andrew, that's Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. And Nick, as I alluded to, some news about the Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback situation, the battle between the veterans and the young guy, who's pulling ahead, who's falling behind. We've got a really great update on that one today. Let's jump into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is from SI.com. It says, the question dominating Crimson Tide's QB1 debate as blue chip recruit Keelan Russell is rapidly gaining traction as Alabama's next QB starter. Will Ryan Grubb let the freshman lead the front while the veterans go to the bench? Even when things don't go right, and it inevitably will for a freshman quarterback, I think he's done an awesome job just kind of staying the course and being very steady, Ryan Grubb said about Keelan Russell per Tuscaloosa News. He can make a lot of plays. Russell is also impressing head coach Kalen DeBoer as well with his consistent growth as an all-around athlete. They say he's just a good all-around athlete, DeBoer said. He's got a long way to go because I think that's the way he looks at it. He's excited about this growth and he's going to be even during this spring. I think this is great news about Keelan Russell. I think we're already hearing these guys, there's more and more we hear, the more people are saying, this could be the guy. I think we have something here. He's excited to grow. We want him to grow. And I think there's a little in between the lines that you can see here. Keelan Russell's looking like he could be QB1 of the Crimson Tide next year. Here's what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Crimson Tide fans, in the comment section below, let us know what your thoughts are on this situation. If he earns it, if he does well through spring camp. I know there's a lot of talented quarterbacks on this roster and some guys that you are partial to. But if Keelan Russell earns it, are you okay with him being QB1? Or do you think, that some of these guys have been around for a long time? Do they earn it? Should it be the best man wins? Or do you think these guys have waited their turn, need to deserve the chance to get on the field and show what they got? Let us know your thoughts on the matter in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest out of Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, so there's basically two schools of thought going on in Alabama right now. Anyone outside the program, right? The talking heads on ESPN, the bloggers online, to a lot of fans, right? Think Simpson is the clear number one favorite. He separated himself from the pack, right? He's the guy going forward. But if you listen to the insiders, the actual coaches, if you listen to what's going on and look at the reports, and we talked about it a few days ago, and I know a lot of Alabama fans, we heard you guys in the comment section. It's not going to be Russell. It's going to be Simpson. Simpson's a superstar. You're reading too much into it. Maybe. But we keep hearing more and more reports about what Russell is doing. He's gaining more traction. He's being very impressive. I love Ryan Grubb's comments about the fact that even though he will make a freshman mistake, for God's sakes, he's been part of big time college football for about 5 seconds. He's able to move past it. His mindset is where it needs to be. And you've got the head coach saying this guy's a great athlete. He's put on the weight that he needs to put on so far. Again, phenomenal job. Great work ethic by Russell. I mean, everything is going in the right direction. And I know a lot of you Tide fans really like Simpson. He is a great prospect in his own right. But I tell you what, I got some great advice from a long time ago when I was watching, I think, Colin Cowherd over on ESPN. He said one time, don't fall in love with a plan. Don't fall in love with a player. Fall in like with a player. And I think that's what Alabama, the organization, they really like Simpson, but they're not in love with him, right? They're willing to move off of him if Russell is going to be the guy. And you talked about who is going to win it outright, and it's still early. A lot of football left to go through, a lot of practice to go to. But Russell is gaining serious momentum. And again, you can just look at the reports. All the great things from Simpson are before spring ball. All the great things from Russell are when the practice has actually started and the footballs are being thrown and the plays are being executed. It's very early, and there could be a little bit, hey, new man on campus, new buzz, energy kind of thing. I get that 100%. But right now, it's palpable. It really is that there is an energy right now behind Russell. It feels very Bryce Young-ish. It feels very Tua Tagovailoa-ish. Again, both those teams, obviously, especially the Tua situation with Jalen Hurts, they already had an established quarterback, but they turned it over to Tua. Obviously, of course, we all remember that. They won a national title. We saw this with Clemson. They had Kelly Bryant. They turned it over to their star freshman, Trevor Lawrence. They won a national title. This is what good teams do. This is what, if you have a superstar, if you have a transcendent quarterback, I'm not saying Russell is, but he seems to be trending in a great direction. If you get him, don't make him sit on the sidelines. Don't put him on the bench. Even if you got a really highly talented prospect like Simpson, if Russell is as good as he's looking so far, and it's pretty darn good, and he's only getting better physically, mentally, across the board, don't make him sit on the bench just because Simpson is a good recruit and was a good recruit and has been there longer. When you have special, let special shine. And I think that's what we're going to see from Alabama. Again, I understand completely. I can hear the comment section already. A lot of football left to be played. Simpson's going to be the guy. You guys are just talking out of whatever. I understand it. I get it. Okay, I understand. But when you have special, Caleb Williams with Oklahoma, Spencer Rattler was their starter. Spencer Rattler was a Heisman Trophy candidate. Caleb Williams comes in, he takes over for Rattler. They go on to do great things. Williams goes on to be the number one overall pick in the NFL draft. When you have special, don't put it on the bench. I think that's where Alabama's leaning. I don't know if Russell will start the first game of the season, but I'm going to go ahead and follow up on my prediction from a few days ago. He will be the starting quarterback for Alabama at some point in 2025.
Yeah, Nick, I tend to agree with you here. I like Russell. I like the momentum around him. And you already hear this kind of stuff from Russell. And this is trivial, but it's something to me that I think is important. Everyone's got out there, everyone's grinding. Spring practice is full effect. Everyone's out there doing their best. But what do you hear around the news sphere? We've seen stories pop up the last day or so of Keelan Russell coming out here talking about Bray Hubbard, Alabama safety, just saying great things about him, talking about how great these players are, talking about some of his receivers, all these, how great all of these guys are. We're hearing him before camp talk about, I think we've got a great quarterback room. I think we have really phenomenal quarterbacks. Everyone's going to go out, it's going to compete. We're just all excited to play football again. I think he's handling himself the right way as well because, no discredit to Mac or Simpson, but we're not hearing too many stories about them come out here and talk about this team. I mean, maybe they're just Keelan Russell is the new hot name on the block. Everyone wants to talk about talk to the 5-star freshman, but the long and short of it is Russell. He's doing all the right things. He's showing that he has the talent. We already knew he had the talent, but he's showing he can be that great teammate. He can come out there and pump his guys up. He can come out there and be the politician where when they asked him, what do you think about this quarterback battle? They wanted him to say, well, I think I'm the guy. I think I can go out there and win it. I think I can be the starter. But he just really goes on and on about just how he's really excited to compete with his guys. Everyone's so phenomenal. It's going to be a great summer. Everyone's going to get a lot of work in. He just doesn't get goaded and stuff like that, which is trivial. You got to be able to do that. But the fact that he doesn't, I think that speaks volumes about his maturity and his leadership ability already. He seems like a guy a little bit wise beyond his years as far as that goes. So overall, I really like all we've seen out of Keelan Russell. I think he's been very impressive. And it's like you said, if somebody is special, if he truly has the talent, I think if he earns the starting job, they got to give it to him because Simpson could be great. Austin Mackey could be familiar with the system. These could be guys that are going to be really, really good. But if you have the opportunity to start someone that can be really, really great, as good as these guys as well, and then he can grow with the program going forward, being so young, I think that's the best course of action for this team for the long term as well. Don't get 1-year guys out there and keep cycling through quarterbacks. Have somebody grow. Get the next Jalen Milroe. Milroe started a little bit rocky in the beginning. He grew and grew and grew, then took this Alabama team, and I think he did some really special stuff. He was a great quarterback. So I think Keelan Russell, really great job so far. I like all the things that he's saying. Overall, I agree with you. I think if he earns it, they gotta let him start.
And I don't think what he's saying is trivial. And I literally had to pull up the reports side by side here just to confirm it, right? Ty Simpson and Keelan Russell. All the news with Russell is literally Russell talking about his teammates, Russell talking about what other freshmen are doing great things, right? Being a leader, being the quarterback. Everything about Ty Simpson is some talking head, some commentator talking about Ty Simpson. It seems Simpson, again, it's hard to read, right? You're just looking at the reports, just looking at the news, looking at the same data as anybody else. But what you're seeing is, again, outside forces like Simpson. internal forces like Russell being a leader, Russell being the franchise guy, leading the freshman class, being everything a quarterback needs to be. Simpson doing fine, doing nothing wrong, nothing bad, by no means nothing bad, but there's nothing special either. If you have special, you let it shine. That's going to be the theme of this video when it's all said and done, right? Russell has a chance, based on what we're seeing, small sample size, to be really unique, to be really fantastic. Alabama, you brought up Jalen Miller being a good quarterback. He was a good quarterback. You know what Jalen Miller wasn't? He wasn't special, right? And I think that's the question that Alabama fans have to ask themselves. Hey, with Ty Simpson, are you going to be that much better last year than it was with when Jalen Milroe? Are you going to be a playoff team? Are you going to avoid getting embarrassed in a bowl game with Ty Simpson? Maybe, probably not. To be totally honest with you, I mean, you got the same coach, you got roughly the same talent level. But with better quarterback play, with elite quarterback play, with special, what happens? Maybe you make the playoff. Maybe you make a deep run at it. Who knows, right? This is what happens, what quarterback play can do. It can elevate your roster or it can limit and constrain it. Milroe was a good quarterback, but at times he constrained the roster. I think Russell, again, very early, I understand, but he has the potential to elevate it, and I'm really excited to see how it all shakes out. This Alabama QB battle is going to be one to watch. And I'm going to, again, stake my claim on this prediction. Russell will start this season at some point for the Alabama Crimson Tide.